Hello dear students of class 10th, welcome to English class. I hope all of you are fit and healthy. Students, in this video, I shall be continuing with the explanation of question answers of chapter 1 from your first flight book, that is, A Letter to God. Students, in the previous video, I had explained till question number 1 from thinking about the text. And in this video, I shall be continuing with question number 2. So, as you can see on the screen, we have question number 2. So, the question is, why does the postmaster send money to Lencho? Why does he sign the letter God? See, the postmaster was deeply moved by Lencho's faith in God. He was very much impressed by the immense faith, the unbreakable faith in God by seeing that letter, and hence he decided to send some money to Lencho in order to avoid shaking his faith in God. He didn't want to shatter or shake the faith of Lencho in God. He didn't want to dishearten him in any way. So that is why he collected some money from his colleagues, friends, and he also gave a part of his salary in order to collect that money and give it to Lencho. And you know, he signed the letter as God to convey a message to Lencho that God has signed him, in order to convey the message to Lencho that God has sent him the money and that God himself signed on it. So that is why, in order to make him believe that God has only sent the money, he signed as God. He wrote God. So I hope question number 2 is clear to everybody. Now students, let's come to the third question. So the third question is, did Lencho try to find out who has, I am saying it again. Now students, let's come to the third question. So the third question is, did Lencho try to find out who had sent the money to him? Why? Why not? See, Lencho did not try to find out who had sent him the money. Not at all he was interested to find out. Why? Because he was very much confident that God had sent it to him. He was pretty sure, he was like 100% confident that God had sent him the money. And you know, not for a moment did he suspect that someone else other than God could have sent the money. Means he did not suspect anybody. He was very much confident that God had only sent him the money, and his faith in Almighty was rock solid. Means it couldn't be broken, like a rock, like a solid rock. So his faith in Almighty was rock solid, and his faith was so strong that he believed that God had sent the money to him for his help in his problems. So that is why he did not try to find out about the sender, because he was sure that God had only sent the money to him. So I hope question number 3 is clear to everybody. Now students, let's come to question number 4. So the fourth question is, who does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? What is the irony in the situation? Now what is the meaning of irony? Irony is a students, irony is a figure of speech, or you can say a literary device. Now what is the meaning of irony? See, irony is a strange or amusing situation because it is the opposite of what is expected. Here also irony was there. Now we will see that how irony was there in that situation. So let me answer the first part of the question, that is, who does Lencho think has taken the rest of the money? So Lencho thought that the post office employees had stolen the rest of the money, that means 30 pesos. He asked 100 pesos from God, but there were only 70 pesos in that envelope. So, he considered the post office employees as the thief for stealing those 30 pesos, and he also called them crooks. Crooks means dishonest people. Crook means a dishonest person. So, that is why he called the post office employees as crooks. Now, the second part, that what is this irony? Cut this line. Now, the second part of the question, that what is the irony in the situation? So, the element of irony in this situation is that Lencho ends up suspecting those people who actually helped him in his crisis in order to avoid shaking off his faith in God. So, he was suspecting the employees of the post office, but in reality they have only helped him. God means physically God had not come in order to help him, or God did not send those 70 pesos. The post office employees, they collected the money and they tried to help Lencho. Whatever amount they could collect, they collected and then they sent to Lencho, but in reality he was not thankful. He was not at all thankful, and he didn't even try to find out who sent the money. Rather, he called those post office employees as crooks. That means he thought that definitely those employees must have stolen that 30 pesos. So, this is the irony in this situation, means what he thought. Cut that line. So, this is the irony in this situation. I hope this question is clear to everybody. Now, students, let us come to the fifth question. So, the fifth question is, are there people like Lencho in the real world? What kind of a person would you say he is? You may select appropriate words from the box to answer the question. As you can see on the screen, students, there is a box given and there are several words that are given. So, you can choose these words in order to answer the question, and the words are greedy. First is greedy, then we have naive. Now, what is the meaning of naive? Naive means lack of experience. A person having lack of experience is called a naive. Then we have stupid, ungrateful, selfish, comical and unquestioning. So, these are the words that are given in this box, and with the help of these words we can frame our answer. So, as the first part of the question says, are there people like Lencho in the real world? So, in reality I don't think there are people like Lencho. So, it is hard to find people like Lencho in reality. See, there are definitely people who believe in God, they have a firm belief in God, but it is really, or I would say it is nearly impossible to find people like Lencho who would actually draft a letter to God in order to share or in order to ask for help. So, it is actually impossible. Now, the second part, what kind of a person would you say he is? See, Lencho is definitely, he is a good person. He is a naive and unquestioning, but he is not a stupid person. Definitely he was not a stupid person. He had firm faith in God. That does not mean, or if he is drafting a letter to God conveying his grievances, that does not mean he is a stupid fellow. Definitely he was not at all stupid. He was literate, he could read, he could write, he drafted the letter. But one more thing, he was also ungrateful in some manner. Yes, definitely he was ungrateful in some manner, because on seeing those 70 pesos, he was not happy. Instead, he complained about the missing amount, that means the missing 30 pesos. He could have thanked God, or he could have thanked the employees. If not the employees, then definitely he could have thanked God for giving him those 70 pesos. But instead he was not at all happy, and he again drafted a letter to God that for asking or seeking for the remaining amount. So, I hope this is the personality of Lencho. This personality is clear to everybody. Now, students, let us come to the last question of the story. So, the last question is, that is question number 6. There are two kinds of conflict in the story between humans and nature and between humans themselves. How are these conflicts illustrated? Definitely you can see two conflicts. One is the conflict between human and nature, and the second conflict between the human beings themselves. So, how these conflicts can be illustrated, how these conflicts can be explained. So, students, first I will explain the conflict between humans and nature. See, it is depicted when Lencho's crops were ruined, when Lencho's crops were destroyed because of the hailstorm. See, Lencho had expected good rain and he was confident enough for good rain. But what happened? There was hailstorm. He was confident, he expected good rain for good harvest, and ultimately that would lead to greater profits. But the opposite happened. His crops were totally ruined. They were destroyed and damaged, and everything, not only his crops, that entire valley was destroyed and leaving almost no hope. So, this is the conflict between humans and nature. This means that nature is more powerful than human beings. So, this conflict is clear to everybody. Now, I will be moving to the next conflict, that means conflict between humans themselves, conflict between human beings themselves. See, the postmaster, he collected some money. When he read the letter, when he opened the letter and read it, he was greatly moved by Lencho's firm belief in God, and so he decided to help Lencho, and in order to help him, he collected money from his colleagues and friends, and he also gave a part of his salary just to help Lencho, so that his firm belief, so that his firm faith in God is not shattered, that firm belief is not questioned. So, that actually he wanted to help him. So, that is why he collected the money and posted it. But despite the beautiful act of kindness and selflessness, Lencho blindly believed that God had sent him that money, and he even blamed the post office employees for stealing the remaining amount. That means he asked for 100 pesos, but only 70 pesos were there. So, he even blamed the employees of the post office, and he called them crooks. So, this is the conflict between human beings themselves. See, the postman is trying to help Lencho, but instead of being humble, instead of being grateful and thankful, he is considering, or he considered them as thieves, and he called them crooks. So, this implies that man lacks faith in his fellow human beings. Man has faith, man has belief in God, but man has no faith in his fellow human beings, which gives rise to conflict. Cut this line. Which gives rise to conflict amongst themselves. So, I hope that this question is clear to everybody. The conflict between humans and nature, as well as the conflict between human beings themselves. Okay? So, students, I have explained the story to you as well as all the question answers. I hope the story as well as all the questions are clear to everybody, and you all will be able to, and you all would be able to answer these questions. So, thank you so much. I will meet you in the next video with a next chapter. Till then, thank you so much and stay safe.